Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the Internal Revenue Service. Welcome to my YouTube videos, the home of the 5-minute video channel. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I've worked over 10,000 cases. I'm a national expert in IRS resolution. The only marketing I do is to let you know we do affordable expert representation, and we're available for consultation. You know, at the Internal Revenue Service, I was offer and compromise specialist. Actually, more than that. I used to accept offers and deny offers. You're going to hear a lot of crap on YouTube that this person did this and this person did that. But at the end of the day, there's no one on YouTube that used to work the offer and compromise program. Not only did I work the offer, I actually instructed those in the offer and compromise at the Atlanta Service Center, where people would come up and I'd explain to them what the program was and how to work offers and compromise. I've just worked thousands and thousands of cases. So I know my offer, and those of you who are listening have probably looked around and heard what other people have to say, and you're trying to size up really what you need to do. So anyway, I'm just going to try to tell you actually, and I'm saying this tongue-in-cheek. You know, when I say this, I mean this sincerely. I can guarantee you how to go ahead and get the lowest possible settlement. There's really 3 things that you need to do. 2 are very critically important. So when I tell you this, these are the mistakes I've seen when people file their own offers, or people have me review their offers. And, you know, we have an excellent rate because I don't file an offer unless I know it's going to get accepted, and they are. So let me explain to you, if I could, the 2 ways, the 2 most important things guarantee you to get the lowest offer and compromise. Guarantee you. When I say guarantee you, now it's up to you to live into what I'm telling you. Number 1, the assets you have, you must find a way to use the lowest value possible in IRS's calculation to get your asset base down. I want you to understand the offer and compromise. IRS is looking at 2 things, your assets and your income and expense ratio. That's what they're looking for. So on your asset values, make sure you're using distraint values. A lot of people use retail values. For instance, if you have a car, it's worth about $10,000 and you got extra miles on it and needs repair, it may not be worth 10, it may be only worth 8,000. You've got to put the values down as low as you possibly can. I had a person call me who had a home. He says, Michael, you know, what do I use? I says, well, what is your house worth? He says, well, it's worth X amount. I says, but it doesn't have damage. He says, yeah, I need a $50,000 roof, da-da-da-da-da-da. I says, well, what are your comps in Zillow and realtor.com? He says, well, it's got a higher value. I says, go ahead and attach, okay, a GC statement to drive that price down. So for every asset that you're putting on that form, IRS wants a dollar for dollar back to accept the offer and compromise. So if you have $100,000 worth of assets, IRS isn't going to discount that any less than $100,000. They are going to go ahead and discount the home 20%. But for everything, you'll want to use the lowest possible values. Take your time in calculation and be able to support them. The second thing IRS wants to do to drive your offer and compromise down is timing. IRS is going to want to look at your income, and they're going to apply the national standard expenses to you to make sure, in fact, that, could you hold on a second? I've got to go ahead and put this on here. They want to go ahead very specifically, listen to me, very specifically, they're going to apply national standards. They're going to apply national standards to housing and utilities, national standards to food and clothing, national standards to car payment, national standards to car expense. Everything else is dollar for dollar. So what you want to do to get the lowest possible settlement, you want to make sure you are using, listen to me, the lowest possible income that you've had either over the last 3 months, 6 months, or a year. You can put that figure in, whatever is lower. That drives the amount of money you have left over to pay IRS. As far as expenses go, you're going to list them, but if you have certain expenses that IRS doesn't allow, but you have special needs, if you write a letter and document that letter, you can increase your expenses more. The idea is at the end of your income, your 433A or OIC, you want to make sure you have what's left over as low as you possibly can. So you've got to reduce your asset base as much as you can, or your values, and you want to show that you have a lot more expenses than IRS allows because you legally can get them. You can beef up on medical bills if you have them. Include dental insurance and maybe extra health insurance. You want to drive those expenses up. What IRS is going to do is they're going to add your asset value plus whatever you have left over by the life of the statute. They're going to add those together, and that's going to be your offer. So if you have the lowest amount, you affect your assets, and you go ahead and drive down your income in expenses and raise your expenses. That's how you go ahead and get the lowest possible value. If you are going to do this yourself, make sure you do this. If you have nothing, file your own offer and compromise. If you have a higher, if you owe a lot more money, IRS is going to do more due diligence, and that's when you hire a professional tax firm. Don't do this by yourself. If you're not sure, you're going to extend the statute of limitations. You're going to give IRS an inroad to where your assets are. So that's when you want to go ahead and hire this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you'd like me to do a YouTube on some of this, I can go ahead and answer particular questions you have about this. It's really important that you understand the national standard expenses. I have videos on those because that's going to drive a big part of your offer and compromise. But you can drive and get the lowest possible offer by adjusting those two areas that I told you about. Lastly, in a bonus, make sure you put a cover letter on your offer and compromise. Yes, a cover letter. Make sure you have a cover letter. Let IRS know why you need the offer, what health or conditions you have. Make your case stand out from other people. If I've given you, oh, by the way, I am available for representation or to file your offer. I will get you the lowest settlement. By the way, I should tell you, if you'd give me a subscription, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, hit me up anytime you want. You at least now you know the truth. Don't give anybody any money for an offer and compromise unless they've looked at your financial statement. If not, you're getting ripped off.